What's up, everybody? Mike Doctor here, back again, reading Chop Wood, Carry Water. Today, chapters 19 and 20 of the book by Joshua Medcalf. I am the high school basketball coach for the House AAU basketball team out of Muskegon, Michigan, playing on the Michigan Basketball Academy circuit. And we're reading this book for new players, making some videos for them to catch up. So if you're watching this for the first time, you like what you see, go ahead and hit the playlist, hit like, hit share. But you can read and follow along with the rest of the book on that playlist, House Basketball. So we're going to read chapters 19 and 20 today with some thoughts. And getting through this here, we're about halfway through the book, which is great. We will be more than halfway through the book by the time we're done with these two chapters, I think. And then we'll be moving on to the next book in the series, which is Pound the Stone. So chapter 19, if you remember from last time, you read chapter 18. We talked about the path to mastery, how it's incremental growth. And John, the main character, was getting frustrated with his coach or his sensei, and basically told him that he didn't think he could do what he was training John to do anymore, and got a little fussy with him. So Akira, the sensei, invited John to meet him back at the firing range at 10 o'clock at night. So chapter 19, I aim with everything. All day long, John couldn't shake his nerves. He knew he shouldn't have spoken to any sensei that way, but especially not the one who had invested so much time and energy in him. John was fearful what would come next. Half expecting to be beaten, John showed up at the shooting range a few minutes early to scout the scene. At 9:59, Akira walked up silently, holding his bow and 2 arrows. John was confused because it was pitch black outside. You could barely see to walk. But Akira calmly walked over to one of the shooting blocks, notched an arrow, and drew his bow. John watched in awe all at once, with intense focus that still seemed effortless somehow. Akira exhaled and released. Thwack! John knew that sound. Akira had hit the target, but it seemed impossible. Once again, the old man knocked his arrow, drew it, and thwack. This time, the noise wasn't as loud, but John knew it must have hit something. He took off running to the target, and when he got there, he couldn't believe his eyes. It seemed impossible. Akira's first arrow was lodged in the middle of the target, while his second arrow had split the first arrow in half. John walked back stunned, stuttering, "How on earth did you do that? It's impossible." Akira smiled, pointing down into the dirt where his drawings were still clear. With nothing but a little bit of moonlight, he indicated the steps of the final drawing. Many years of chop wood, carry water. He indicated the bottom step. First year, you must learn to aim with your eyes. He indicated the second step. Second year, you must learn to draw your bow smoothly, hold it stable, and aim with your muscles. Again, the next step. Third year, you must learn how to breathe slowly, control your diaphragm, and aim with your lungs. He repeated this all the way to the top of the drawing where he stopped. "John, I've been chopping wood and carrying water for 49 years. And while you may only aim with your eyes and your muscles and your lungs right now, I aim with everything. The way I stand, the position of my feet, how much tension I put in the bow, how much tension I have in my hands, how I breathe, and what I see in my mind all impact the same result, or all impact the end result. Everything impacts everything. Everything is aiming. You have much to learn, John. Get some sleep, and tomorrow we chop wood, carry water." John just nodded in total amazement, thankful for such a masterful and patient teacher. Quick thoughts on that chapter. Here's the point. It takes a long time to get amazing at something. It takes a long time to achieve mastery. It takes years and years and years of intense focus, of pounding on your craft, of getting better every day, sometimes feeling like you're getting worse, but never quitting and falling in love with the process. When you think you can't do it, the only way that you can prove yourself right is to quit doing that thing. So if you keep moving, you keep learning, you keep progressing, you're going to get better, period. So that was chapter 19. Chapter 20, bamboo. This is one of my favorite chapters in the whole book. The next morning at breakfast, Akira told John to meet him at the big bamboo grove in 10 minutes. Still mesmerized from the night before, John quickly agreed. When they arrived 7 minutes later, Akira was already there waiting for him. "Let's go for a walk. I want to tell you a story," he said. John replied, "First, I owe you an apology. I'm very sorry for speaking to you in such a disrespectful manner. It was wrong, and I'm very sorry." The old man looked at John and said with a smile, "I appreciate that you recognize this on your own, and I accept your apology. Now, has anyone ever told you the story of bamboo, John?" He pointed to the towering grove of bamboo trees with their thick green trunks and wisping leaves. John shook his head. "No, sir." "Well, then, you are in for a treat," Akira Grandin went on. "You see, many people love bamboo. They love the bamboo trees and they love the bamboo wood, but very few people understand the process of growing bamboo. You dig deep into the soil and make sure it is good soil, and then you plant the bamboo seed. You must then faithfully water it every day. After 3 months, guess what starts to happen?" John said excitedly. "The bamboo tree starts to sprout out of the ground?" "Nothing. You see absolutely nothing happen. You keep watering it, but you continue to see nothing happen for 1 year, and then 2 years, then 3 years. Do you know what happens after 3 years, John?" John replied more tentatively this time. "The bamboo tree starts to sprout out of the ground?" "Nothing. You see absolutely nothing." John shook his head. "I don't understand." "What you don't see happening is what's taking place beneath the surface. Beneath the surface, a massive, dense foundation of roots is spreading out all throughout the ground to prepare for rapid growth that the bamboo will experience. So you keep watering it, and eventually, after 5 years of seeing nothing at all happen above the surface, the bamboo tree shoots up out of the ground and shoots up over 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. You see, John, most people want the 90-foot bamboo tree without the 5 years of the process. They want the bamboo to grow to 90 feet tall in 6 weeks. But without the 5 years of invisible growth, the bamboo wouldn't have a solid foundation, and it could never sustain the massive and rapid growth that occurs. This is why you see people who achieve massive levels of success end up broke, homeless, and divorced. Did you know that around 75% of NFL players and around 65% of NBA players end up bankrupt, homeless, and divorced? Shaken, John shook his head. "No." "Do you remember when I told you that the majority of people who win the lottery end up worse off financially than they were before winning the lottery just 5 years down the road?" John nodded. Of course he remembered. "John, chopping wood and carrying water is the price of admission for the opportunity to reach sustained excellence." I'm going to read that sentence again. "Chopping wood and carrying water is the price of admission for the opportunity to reach sustained excellence. Like the roots of a bamboo tree, it is a long and arduous process of invisible growth, where you are building the foundation that is necessary to sustain success. For many years, it might feel like nothing is happening, but you must trust the process and continue to chop wood and carry water day in and day out, regardless of what's happening around you. There will be distractions. There will be people who tell you you are stupid or crazy for doing it. There will be people who try to lure you off the path with quick fixes and get-rich-quick schemes. But you must be wise and stay the path, and continue to build your foundation by chopping wood and carrying water every day. Greatness isn't sexy, John. It's the dirty, hard work that is often very boring. You have a bright future, but you must walk a dark and often lonely path, and never forget." I know, interrupted John. "No matter what happens, I must chop wood and carry water." Akira couldn't help but grin. "You have learned much, but you still have much to learn." That was chapter 20. I love that chapter because oftentimes, and this is one of the main things that I want to get across to you as we read this book, oftentimes it's going to feel like you're not getting anything out of the process, out of the things that you're doing. Whether I'm your coach, someone else is your coach, whether you're playing a different sport, whether you're just lifting, exercising, whether you're studying, whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to feel like nothing's happening. But I promise you, you're laying a foundation. I promise you that everything that happens is in your best interest and an opportunity to learn and grow. It may seem like a tragedy. It may seem like there's no sense to it. And sometimes there's not. And oftentimes it is a tragedy. But those who stick with it and fall in love with the process and see what they can understand or realize in the midst of learning and growing, those are the people who can help other individuals way down the path that they didn't even think was possible. I know it's hard to understand right now. You're 15, 16, 17 years old. Maybe you're older than that if you're watching this, but for my team, you're 15, 16, 17 years old, maybe 18, and you think that there's no way that anyone will ever be able to listen to you, or your experiences that you're going through right now, or the struggles that you're going through right now don't matter. They matter. They matter down the road. They matter to you. They matter to the person you're becoming. And so I love that chapter. I hope that you're enjoying this book. Thank you so much for listening and reading along with me. I'm so excited for this season to get to work with all of you. And I can't wait to continue this book with you. We'll get on to some other chapters here coming up. And moving on, the next chapter is called Road Signs on the Path to Mastery. So it's another good one. And we'll get into that one next time. So thank you all. We'll see you. Bye now.